Mike Moore Media.
On our media line, our friend Steve Scott, president of Tri-State Steel in Reidsville, our monthly get-together. Hey, Steve, and congratulations to your daughter and to your family.
Thanks, Mike. It's been a busy week at the Scott house, and we're very proud of her, so I appreciate that.
Well, it's always busy. It seems like when you're working there at Tri-State Steel and all of the many different projects you're involved in, the recent expansion, your new retail metal store. But yeah, let's talk about Dr. Oh, how nice to put that in front of her name, Dr. Grace Scott. I don't know her. I don't know your family. I've heard about them and some wonderful things. But just tell us about that wonderful milestone in her life this past weekend, Steve.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Yeah, it was a fun weekend. You know, she started riding horses when she was 4 years old, and horses have been her passion since that day. You know, the first time she jumped on a horse, Mike, was at Woodmont United Methodist Church at a Bible school. Cash Cassidy was teaching Bible school and brought horses in, and Grace hopped on a horse at Woodmont United Methodist Church, and she hasn't stopped riding horses since. And so we are proud parents of a doctor of veterinary medicine from North Carolina State University, and she will be specializing in equine performance horses, and relocating to Wilmington here next week, and starting her career, and it was a really nice weekend at NC State. The Wolfpack did an amazing job celebrating the kids and hosting the families, and it was a proud moment, and we were really excited for her because, as she told me, Dad, there is no plan B. This is what I'm going to do, and it is not the easiest task, and she and her friends had a big weekend, and it was a lot of fun, and we are obviously extremely proud.
Well, we share in that with you. Congratulations to Dr. Grace Scott on her degree.
If I could just hop in here, and
Sure.
I apologize for cutting you off, and maybe you're headed this way anyhow. But, you know, Grace and many of her friends are a product of Reidsville High School. Mm-hmm. And, you know, our local schools catch a lot of grief. And sometimes it's, you know, with reason. But I will also tell you that there are a lot of victories celebrated from Reidsville High School academically through the IB program. She was an IB kid. Her friends were IB kids. They are all out there doing amazing things. And a shout out to the robotics team that she was a part of when she was in high school that taught her a lot of fundamentals. And I think that every once in a while we need to stop looking at all the negative and really focus on some of the victories. And I would be remiss to talk about Grace and not suggest that Reidsville High School was very good to her, and we are grateful for the community support while she was here. It set the foundation for her success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, yes, there are negatives out there all around us in so many ways, unfortunately, but it's exciting. A couple of things there. You mentioned that she got that early on love of animals and horses, and now here she is embarking on a whole new life there as a veterinarian. And then the foundations, the schools, and all of the good things that happen there, it just all comes together and falls into place, and now here we are today. That is exciting, isn't it?
It is, and I think it speaks to community, mm-hmm. Mike. You know, Reidsville talks about Team Reidsville a lot, but I don't think anybody can quite put their finger on exactly what that means. Mm-hmm. And I think that Grace is an example of what it means to have been a part of Team Reidsville. You know, whether it be from the church experience where she first rode a horse to Dr. Shotwell being very generous and kind with her as she was coming through the school system. He played a big role in and creating flexible paths for her to pursue her dreams while she was in high school. He got to do a lot of things through his creativity that allowed her to pursue her career in the equine sciences, and I think that speaks a lot to the power of growing up in a small town and what can be accomplished here. I think a lot of people say, well, I'm from a small town, I can't do this and I can't do that. And the reality is, you can use Grace as an example, or I could pick 100 of the kids that she grew up with,
sure,
who are all extraordinarily successful. And I think being from this community played a large part in that because of the support they all had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so many people will agree with you about that. And looking at our young people and our education system here in Rockingham County today, and all of the good things about it. So yeah, let's don't ever lose sight of that. And producing some good young people. And what I found exciting here, Steve, too, is over the years that so many people don't move away, and I mean, they do come back and they open businesses, and we've seen that all over Rockingham County too. And that's exciting that they come back to their community and give back there.
Yeah, it is exciting. A great example is Eden Combs, the realtor here in town. Mm-hmm. She is working really hard to engage in the community and being a part of it. But you can look around. I coached at Reedsville High years and years and years ago when our oldest daughter, who's now in her mid-30s, went to Reedsville High. And some of the young ladies who I coached there are now back here creating businesses and working in the community and volunteering and making an impact. And in fact, one of them just coached the Reedsville Middle School girls soccer team to the conference finals this past week. And she reached out to me to say, hey, just wanted you to know that you made a difference, and being on the sidelines and standing where you stood, it's a different perspective, and I'm grateful. Well, how great is that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is,
and
I'm really proud of Annie and what she did. And, it's exciting to see that reinvestment by the kids who grew up here and were given so much here to decide they want to come back and be a part of it. So, this is small communities. It's a struggle. It is hard. It is hard to be in business. It is hard to find employees. There are struggles in the school system, but I think sometimes we forget to look at all the victories, and I try to help spread that word because I think it's really important.
Extremely important, and thank you again for sharing that. I like the way you say victories. I'm the eternal optimist in everything, try to be. But realistically, you do look around and see that. But victories there. Let's don't overlook the victories. And you don't have to look far, do you?
No, sir. They are everywhere. Circling back to Tri-State Steel, we took some really big risks in the last 6 months, and they're playing out really well. And we're hiring more people, and we're moving more product, and it's because businesses in our community are busy. If they aren't busy, we're not busy. So kudos to Lee Cockrum and her team out at the county for the economic development work they're doing. Kudos to Summer here in Reedsville. Eden is working really hard to grow. I think the intentionality of effort is really starting to pay off. Being a part of the Carolina Core, what we used to call the Piedmont Triad, Carolina Core stretches a little further, Mount Airy to Fayetteville. Mike, it's exploding. Mm-hmm. Like maybe the hottest economic development area in the country. And the jobs are pouring in. And, there's not enough houses for everybody. There's not enough places for people to live. We need more employees, and those are the challenges that people way above my pay grade have to work on. But you just drive down Freeway Drive in Reidsville, and you can see it every time you turn around. New business, new business, new business.
Yeah.
Not to mention what's happening in downtown Eden and in the western part of the county. So I think it's an exciting time, and I think that we do need to be super intentional about celebrating our victories.
You're right. And you mentioned western Rockingham County, because there are houses going up everywhere. There are apartment complexes. There are, we're not talking about just a few. We're talking about dozens that are now under construction. I met with a contractor last week, as a matter of fact, Charles Rakestraw, who is building homes. And it's just exciting to see the growth in Rockingham County with Nestle Purina and with your the company there, that the pet company that's just recently coming to Reidsville. Yeah, we start naming, we could do another 30 minutes probably.
Yeah, the Farmina plant here in Reidsville is going to hire, I think, 400 people. I'm thinking Nestle's maybe 1,000. I'm not sure. It's a lot. And then right across the border, Mike, obviously Danville is really, really turning the corner. And you and I have spoken about the Berry Hill project, and I don't know if everybody in Rockingham County is familiar with the Berry Hill project, which is a cross-border area. It's a mega site, Mike, and when I talk mega site, I talk about, the Toyota plant, the VinFast plant. Well, Berry Hill is the next big mega site, and they're going to sell it, and it's going to explode. It's 19 miles from Tri-State Steel. We are very optimistic about what's going to happen there, and our community leaders are working really hard. And when I say our community leaders, I'm talking Danville, Pittsylvania County, Henry County, Rockingham County. It's exciting. There's going to be something in the next couple of years. Something's going to happen at Berry Hill, and when that something happens, it's going to be big.
I had a really good meeting with Tara Martin at Economic Development, Travel, Tourism here in the county recently. And, we say this every time we get together with these folks. There's so many things that are bubbling under the surface that are in the works, development. And sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it takes years before it all comes together. But and people think, well, what's happening here? I don't understand. There seems to be not a lot. No, there are things going on all the time that are not privy to that information. But it's good to know that they're hard at work. And you mentioned Lee. Gosh, we're so glad to have her here in Rockingham County, aren't we?
Yeah, she's a hustler. She does not fool around. And we have a really good relationship with that department, and Lance in general over at the county has been very gracious to Tri-State Steel. So we are very fortunate at Tri-State Steel to glean the wheat from some really good relationships, and those folks have been very, very supportive of us, and we're grateful for them.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, our time is up. We can run overtime if we need to, but
it goes by fast, Mike. It goes by fast. Let's try to catch up again soon.
Yeah, but let's get in one quick mention. Things are going well. I get all kinds of good reports from your retail metal store there on Richardson Drive. So it's busy, busy, busy.
Yes, we're excited about it, Mike. The feedback has been really, really terrific, and it's a matter of getting the word out and getting people to stop by 2513 Richardson Drive in Reidsville and come check it out. We would love to see you.
I had a motivational moment this morning, Steve. Kind of goes along with this. Remember, there's no such thing as a small act of kindness. Every act creates a ripple with no logical end. And then again, we go back to community and unity, a big part of that word. I'm glad we had this conversation. Thank you, Steve.
Take care, Mike. Thanks for everything.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. There's our friend Steve Scott with Tri-State Steel in Reidsville. Please check out their website, their Facebook page, distributing quality metals and exceptional service since 1988.